Good morning, everybody. We have got a pretty cool video planned for the day. We got 2 hours to fish. We're fishing a lake we've never been to before. So we're going to show you how we do it, and hopefully we can catch a fish in 2 hours. So let's call this the 2-hour bass fishing challenge. All right, so what the conditions we're faced with today is, this is Jordan Lake in Alabama. We're here for a kayak bass fishing championship called the Best of the Best, and we got the two best kayak anglers in the country this year fishing head to head right now. But we're out fishing, and we have never been to this lake before. Don't know anything about it, haven't really done a lot of research, if any, and so we're going to kind of run through the different little steps that we take to catch fish on a lake we've never been to before, and we've only got 2 hours to do it in, so we're going to bust our tail and try to get it done. All right, so this is Jordan Lake is a lake that's on the Coosa River, and most of the Coosa River lakes are known for their spotted bass, for those Coosa River spots, as they call them. And so in our research, the little bit of research we've done, that's pretty much all we know. So we get to the lake, and one of the first things we look at is we look at the watercolor. How clear is the water? How far can the bass see? And that determines several things. First of all, what color lure I'm going to be throwing. And second of all is how deep or shallow the bass might be. Muddy water, the bass push up shallow, and they push into that shallow cover, and they get really, really tight to the cover. A lot of times you got to pitch real close to the cover and pitch multiple times to get bit. Clearer the water, the more you can get away with making a lot of fan casts and using some moving baits. So right now we're in pretty stained water. The visibility is about a foot and a half, and we're throwing fairly clear baits. I'm throwing a little chatterbait that I ripped the skirt off of, put a paddle tail on. Ryan's throwing a jig with chartreuse dipped in JJ's Magic, and we're just going to cover water just for this little area. We're in a little area that's protected from the wind. Conditions we're faced with today are high bluebird skies, post front, windy north wind, some of the worst conditions you can have when the fish are wanting to move up and spawn. So we're going to find these protected, warmer water spots to start with and just try it, but we're not going to try it for long, and we're going to just buzz around and kind of pretend like we're KVD or something. All right, so the first place we've pulled up so far has been this. It's a kind of a shallow pocket that's protected by the wind. We're going to run through it real quick with some moving baits. He's going to pitch a jig real fast. And we're not going to stay long in here. One thing that I've learned over the many years that I've been fishing is that when you pull up to a spot that is ideal to have fish on it and you don't get bit in the first 20 or 30 casts, more than likely there's not enough fish there to waste your time at. If I was just fishing for fun and not fishing for speed, I would stay there and try to catch something, but really you're going to catch your first fish in the first 10 or 15 casts if they're there and if they're ready to feed.
I don't think that was a fish. I thought my line was moving, but we're moving too.
Yeah.
That might have been a fish on its bed. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah. There he is.
Really? Largemouth too.
Good flip, good flip.
No, it wasn't a good flip. You're gonna break my rod.
Gene, I don't know how to boat flip right. Look at that fish though. He
ate it.
Guys, I might be throwing something that they're eating, because that fish annihilated it.
So how do you take the luck out of fishing and catch a fish in what, our first stop on a lake we've never been to before?
You do what we talked about in the beginning of the video.
That's right.
You put as many of the puzzle pieces together.
Yep, before you get to the lake.
Dude, the way this fish is hooked is...
No,
sorry.
You want me to show you how to do it?
No, I got it.
You sure?
Look, there was a jig. I don't know, it's about 1.5 pounds
Yep.
fish.
Nice. Nice, nice.
That would be a 2-minute penalty. We're addicted to Major League Fishing.
Yes,
when the
we
new
are.
episodes come out, me and Gene get a little crazy.
Yeah, and we binge watch.
We binge watch.
So we caught our first fish on a lake that we've never been to before in the first 20 minutes of fishing. How's that?
I just said 5 on camera, so you're
Was it 5? Well, I said within the first 20 minutes.
Okay, so that includes...
I guess it has been 5 because it's only been this stretch of bank. How awesome is that? All right, so I made a little adjustment switch to a vile craw, dip the tail in methylate, or the claws in methylate JJ's Magic. Gives it that orange color you see crawfish have when they're in the grass, or even, especially this time of the year. And one of my favorite things to do anyway. And so I'm kind of trying to match what Ryan's doing, but not quite. If he whacks another one on a jig, then we may have to consider it.
So that fish that I just caught, I think one of the big things during pre-spawn is cast into a target that you think is fishy. You know, if you think there's a fish sitting on a piece of isolated cover, definitely make sure to make multiple casts to it. The other thing too is that I missed that fish and immediately threw right back in there, and that fish was on. So
look at all the nails on this knot.
Oh my gosh, that's what it is. So anyway, if you guys are fishing a little closer, I mean, I guess if you miss a fish out far, you can throw back, but it's just harder to land it right back in. But I literally missed that fish and put that jig within seconds. It was right back in front of his face. So if you miss a fish, don't get all upset like I usually do, and make sure to cast in there again. I love it though. Like, you go into this blackout and you're just like, dope.
Oh. So Ryan likes to snuggle up with me on the front deck, and he just found out one of the bad parts about snuggling up to me on the front deck. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna abandon this spot, and we're gonna get out on the main lake, brave a little bit of wind, and go find some fish on some main lake structure, like some points, maybe some humps, things like that. Gonna do a lot of graphing and then a whole lot of fishing. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're about to go fish a main lake point that's got fish on top of it. We graphed it with our fish finder, and it's so windy out there, we're probably not gonna get any audio. So just kind of watch what we're doing. We're gonna drag the same baits. I'm gonna drag that little vile craw, he's gonna drag a jig. I might switch to a worm, but we're gonna just drag this. It's a point leading into the canal we were just in. And it's an ideal place when there's current and wind blowing up against it, where the fish will stack on top of it and feed on the bait fish that are swimming by. So that's what we're gonna try next. All right, guys, so what we did is we got out of the wind. Boy, it was kicking our tail, and got up into this protected pocket, and there's a bunch of them up this little creek arm, and it's got water temperatures in the low 60s, 63, 62, 63 degrees. So I don't think they're quite spawning yet, but they're not far from it. So these are really, really deep pockets. It's 38 feet out in the open of it, and the pocket's only 100 yards long. And we went all the way to the back to the shallow area, and I'm in 11 feet of water sitting in the middle, and we're fan casting. We're both dragging right now, and there should be some fish hanging back here. Whether we can get them to bite or not, I don't know. But they should be sitting back here waiting to move up to spawn. See kind of what we're casting at? Just kind of in the middle. We're gonna fan cast really, really methodically all the way through here and drag it down the middle. A lot of times when they're spawning, they will, or when the males are up fanning beds but the females aren't pulled up yet, the females are not far away. They're usually just hanging out in the middle of that pocket, somewhere at some depth, and you have to fish to find out what depth they're hanging at. And they're just cruising back and forth, waiting and feeding along the way, and just waiting to move up to spawn. And that's when you can catch some big ones, but you have to pull away from the bank and shut out all those beds with all those biting males on it to get out here and catch those big females. Oh, I doubt you. I want a tournament shirt. Can I get a tournament shirt? I think Flukemaster needs a tournament shirt. I'm not worthy of a shirt. I need to get me a tournament shirt so I look like I'm a professional. It really does. Can I get my name on it too? Yeah. Can I get my name on it too? No, but you hit the crap out of the dog. Yeah. Freaking alarm clock. Hey, right here. So Ryan, what do you think it is? What do you think is going on pattern-wise? If you were to fish for the rest of the day, what would you do?
Well, every bite we've been getting, you just rolled the hook on an easy 4-pounder, and that fish that I just caught was pretty much in the same location, just in another pocket. So what we found so far today is that they're not. These are, I would call these secondary points. I mean, is that?
Yep.
And they're not anywhere near the back of the pocket. These little bays, these little pockets that are formed from these two little secondary points on the outside. It seems like can you point the camera over there just to kind of like give an example? So you can see that staircase there. So you have the ends of the point right here, and then from where the point kind of rolls out and it goes down the bank to the back of the pocket, from the beginning of that to about 20 yards in, 15 to 20 yards is where we've gotten every single bite today. So, I mean, I don't know, 3 bites, all in the same
location.
Yeah,
and the reason we're going with, I mean, the reason we're focusing on the location of the fish in the pockets is because they're moving.
It's not same location, like same pocket.
Right.
It's the same location
on each pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're doing that because it's the spawn, or growing in to be the spawn. So these fish are moving in, and there's a wave that's in a certain position. And now the wave that we found has been in the first little third of the inside of all these pockets coming off of these points.
And so what that means is that they were in their winter holes, whether that means they were sitting out in this, sitting in this creek arm, in the channel, and then they moved, wherever they came from, they moved up the point, and then they started working their way back into the back of the pocket. And so what we're doing is we're intercepting them in that very first bit of movement from the point to get back into their spawning bays.
Yep.
So water temperature started the day at what? When we first got out here, we were seeing 59 degrees. They were pumping water pretty hard.
Yeah, now we're at 64.
They stopped pumping. It's, what, 64? You said it was just 63 a minute ago. So a couple degrees warmer. I think the fish started moving, and we're intercepting it. So if we were in a tournament, what we'd be doing is you pick a creek arm that has a lot of these little, I mean, these pockets aren't but 100 to 150 yards long, and fish right where the point ends, and it's straightening out to the bank, and make 10 to 15 casts going down that bank, flip around, hit the other side, and if you don't get bit, go next pocket.
Yeah, go to the next pocket and burn the points. Burn the points as you're going around. When I say burn, make casts, but make them quicker. Don't waste any time on the points, and then work your way back into the next pocket.
Every single bite that we've gotten has been about 5 feet off the bank. So they're not on these seawalls. They are just off of them. And so the jig will drop. So I don't think that the drop rate has anything to do with this bite. Because that was one of the things. I put on a bigger, bulkier trailer to slow the jig down. And I haven't had any hits on the fall, and neither has Gene. So once you make anywhere from the 2nd to 5th hop, the fish has jumped on it right then. So that's, usually I try to establish how fast the jig is dropping because I get a lot of bites on the fall. Oh, shoot, this one. I'm not gonna flip this one.
Ryan's got a good one. All right, so a couple of things we've learned in this little 2-hour challenge is that the fish wanted it on the bottom. They didn't want to chase. They didn't want to come up and hit nothing. They wanted it on the bottom. And look at he did to that jig. Oh, hold on, let's get the camera up there. He ate the jig. So
sucked it down.
If we had any more time, we would be dragging a peanut butter and jelly jig. That's one of them Strike King jigs I just got. And edit this video. Awesome, man.
Cool.
Well, like I would say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More important, to get out on the water, go out and catch some fish. Have a great day. Say bye, Ryan.
See you guys.